Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 6th edition of Mapping the Magazine. First of all, some technical considerations. Audio and video are off to allow for an overall better experience in terms of sound and connection quality. Please use headphones whenever possible, as this has a considerable impact on audio quality. The sessions will be recorded and presentations will be made available online unless otherwise specified by the presenters. No one is allowed to record the conference unless it is their own presentation. Thank you for this. We are starting today the 6th edition of Mapping the Magazine. This series of conferences were founded by Tim Holmes at Cardiff University in 2005. So the 2020 edition is very special because MTM is commemorating its 15th anniversary. But this is not the only special aspect of the 6th edition. This edition is the first one to be organized by a Portuguese university. And on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank Lusófona University for all the support, namely ECATI, the communication department, and our research center, SICANT. And I take this opportunity to say thanks to our Dean, Professor Moutinho, who promptly accepted the invitation to be with us in this opening session, as well as to Professor José Gomes Pinto, Head of ECATI, to Professor Luís Cláudio Ribeiro, Head of the Communication Department, and to Professor Maria José Brites, Member of SICANT's board. We started our journey in Chicago 2 years ago, when Lusófona was challenged to organize MTM6. It was an honor that we accepted, promising to do our best. But we were far from imagining that we wouldn't be able to hold a typical MTM conference characterized as a small event where everybody gets along, learning from one another and forming precious networks. A really cozy conference, I have to say. I will spare the details behind the reasons why we are not all in Lisbon right now. The truth is that we had to take a decision when the pandemic of COVID-19 set with no end date in sight. We decided to go virtual, and so here we are. We did our best to preserve MTM spirit, and we believe that our talking circle in particular is going to be a very special MTM moment. Besides the talking circle, we have also devised other means to facilitate networking in order to make a fruitful conference indeed. We have two great keynotes that link the magazine industry to academic research. They are James Hewes, President and CEO of FIP, the Network for Global Media, and Joy Jenkins from the University of Tunis. MTM6 has 9 panels, 28 papers, and scholars from all over the world, from Australia to the United States, including Egypt, United Kingdom, Belgium, Italy, or Azerbaijan, as long as a considerable number of Portuguese researchers. As always, there are no parallel sessions, which means that everybody can follow MTM from the first to the last minute. MTM is the only international conference totally devoted to magazine studies, and magazine studies is a particular and absolutely fascinating research field. Magazines are completely different from other media. They have the ability to create communities around people with special interests, providing them with the information they need. Magazines are also a mirror of society, and studying them let us learn a great deal about the world and about ourselves. We have Tim Holmes with us in this opening session. He is one of the most important scholars in the field of magazine studies, so I will not bother you with more details. I just have to say that once we start analyzing magazines, we become so fascinated that we really want to go deeper and discover more. Finally, I thank the work of MTM Scientific Committee and the work of our organizing committee. And in particular, I thank Daniel Cardoso and Teresa Mendes Flores, who have been with me since day one. Tim Holmes too, for all the support. Ana Figueiras and Mary Hogarth, our superb social media managers, and Carolina Martins, our assistant producer, who makes everything work. It has been a pleasure to work with this very special and highly qualified team. During the 3 days of the conference, our team will be reinforced with Chloe Randall, who just finished her BA at Bournemouth University and will work on live blogging and social media, and with 8 Lusófona students of the BA in Communication and Journalism, Bianca, Clarice, Marco, Maria, Mariana, Marta, Nuno, and Sofia, who volunteered to provide technical support. Thank you all. And now let us now hear the Dean of Lusófona University, Professor Mario Moutinho. Thank you. Professor.
Hello, good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone participating in this sixth Mapping the Magazine conference. I would like to congratulate the researcher who sought, create and shape this conference with a special reference to Professor Tim Holmes and Carla Cardoso, and of course all other researchers, scholars, technical and administrative team. It is stated in the call, this conference aims to create a meeting of international magazine scholars from many disciplines: media communication, journalism, gender and cultural studies, sociology, linguistics, English, history, visual communication, and so on, who are interested in exploring the current state of magazine research and possible developing collaborative research projects. I have no doubt that these ideas are an inspiring project, opening doors for a profound reflection of this research of communication from cultural, social, and economic points of view. We are facing fields of research whose limits are permanently moving. These new and daily created resources and approaches will increasingly occupy a dominant place in the development of communication in a broad sense. It is important, however, to highlight that magazines are neither good nor bad. Everything depends on the use we make of them or not make to serve knowledge and critical conscience of the world we share. We really believe that it is impossible to conceive literacy as only reading the words without admitting that it is necessarily preceded by a reading of the world. Learning to read and write, as we do every day in our lives, is equivalent to a permanent rereading of the world. For a substantial part of society, the current understanding of the world in our contemporary society is shaped by media, which in different form reflects the interests, objectives, and ideology of different levels of economic system and power. Let me remember an important document prepared by UNESCO 5 years ago, dedicated to another research of communication, museums, let's say, that is my field of research and practice, where I will change the word museum to the word magazines. So M, you can understand, museum, or especially now, today, magazines, are vital spaces of communication that should be dedicated to the whole of society and can therefore play an important role in development of social ties and cohesion, in building citizenship and in reflecting on collective identities. M should be placed is open to everyone and committed to physical and cultural accessibility. They can constitute space of reflection and debate on historical, social, cultural, and scientific themes. Museums or magazines must also promote respect for human rights and gender equality. Member states should encourage museums or magazines, I would say, to perform all of these functions. But in present times, member states are not very interested in human dignity or human rights. People come down the streets expressing indignation and anger. The program of this conference is full of contributions that can make us think as much as doing a rereading of the world. I'm sure it will be an excellent conference. Finally, and to conclude, I wish to congratulate the organizers of the conference, and particularly the Center for Research in Applied Communication, Culture and New Technologies, CICANT, and wish to all participants that these 3 days will be rich in ideas, debates, and discovery of new scientific, professional, and personal partnerships. Thank you and good work and special. Stay alert and safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your inspiring words, Professor Mário Moutinho. I now give the floor to Professor José Gomes Pinto, Head of ECATI, Lusófona's School of Communication, and much, much more, as we know, here in Lusófona. Please, José Gomes Pinto. The sound is off.
Okay, now you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. I will not give a very long speech since it will be the third time I will thank you. So I only thanks Professor Carla Cardoso for organizing all this program, to organizing committee, Ana Figueiras, Daniel Cardoso, Mary Hogarth, Sharon Lloyd Peskin, Teresa Mendes Flores, and Tim Holmes, especially to Tim Holmes, who I know is the founder. I would like to thank all the team that helped to make this possible, the assistant producer, Carolina Martins, and the students, the volunteers, Bianca Gregorio, Clarice Verdade, Marco Freitas, Maria Nunes, Mariana Ferreira, Marta Garcia, Nuno Martins, Sofia Magalhães, and the live blogging and social media coordinator, Chloe Randall. So since I'm not a specialist in magazines, but I'm a reader of magazines, and since magazines, the etymology just means warehouse, a space where we can store things. I think that all these heads, all these brains that are involved in this conference will have a good opportunity to discuss and to store their ideas and to spread them after all. I will have to apologize myself since I could not attend all the sessions, but you don't need me really. So thank you, Carla, and thank you all the team. Thank you, Tim, for founding this conference and for paying attention to magazines, which they really, really need attention. And I really think that magazines should be pandemic again.
You would be a plus for us to having with us José Gomes Pinto, and you can come here and now if you want to see anything in particular, because you are invited to all the 3 days, as you know. Thank you very much. Now we have with us Professor Luís Cláudio Ribeiro, Head of ECATI's Communication Department.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for organizing this international conference. The Communication Science Department of Lusófona University in Lisbon is proud to host this event. I hope it will be 3 days of excellent work and sharing, even if virtually. Welcome speakers, students, teachers, and members of the scientific board. Welcome all and good work. Thank you, Carla and Tim, and all the staff and the team. Thank you, everyone, and good morning.
Thank you, Luís Cláudio. Finally, I finally know, because the last one is going to be Tim. I now give the floor to Professor Maria José Brites from the board of SICANT, Lusófona's Research Center, which hosts MTM6. Please, Maria José.
So, good morning. Thank you so much for the invitation on behalf of the board of SICANT. I really thanks to Carla, Rodrigues, Cardoso, and the team, and also Tim Holmes that had this inspiring idea. I know that the entire team put a huge effort to make this conference possible. So congratulations. And by looking at the program of the conference, it was very interesting to note some research fields that are very timeless and that are very relevant in our deep mediatized society. So while we are living in a very deep mediatized society with a huge relevance of digital means, so we can find that through magazines we can still have a look on social contexts, even offline and online contexts, with different types of references such as gender. We can have through the conference program an idea and an overview of the transformations in the field. I would highlight, besides this very relevant perspective on the social and daily life contexts where we live through magazines too, and the content of magazines, also to this very interesting note on possible fields of research in regard to magazines and regional perspectives that can have also a future ground, a very interesting future grounds. And I would also highlight the relevance of magazines, even print magazines, in our daily life context, and especially I think that it's very relevant nowadays to consider this possibility of reading a print magazine in a context where we are so online. So the perspective of disconnection also through magazines, it was something that it seemed to me very relevant in the context of future perspectives and also research in regards to magazines. Thank you so much, and I really wish you good sessions, and I'm sure they will be. I will not be able to attend all the sessions, but at least some of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Maria José Brites. You are going to work with us. I'm almost sure, because you are already starting to be fascinated by magazines, as we can see. And now we couldn't hope for a better way to end our opening session than with Tim Holmes, founder of Mapping the Magazine's conferences. So please, Tim, wrap it out.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for showing up here. And thank you, Carla, for reminding me that this is the 15th anniversary since the founding of Mapping the Magazine. We have a saying in the UK that all the best ideas happen in the pub. But in fact, the idea for Mapping the Magazine happened in a coffee shop opposite the Angel tube station in Islington, London, where I first discussed it with Jenny McKay. And from that little conversation grew a small conference, and the first edition of the conference in Cardiff was from the very start international in a way that really surprised me, and also interdisciplinary, which I thought it would be. And since then we had 3 great editions in Cardiff, and then since then this little idea born in the coffee shop has traveled to Sydney, to Chicago, and now to Lisbon, which I have no hesitation in deeming the coolest city in Europe, if not the world. And so thank you so much to Carla, to the University of Lusofona, to Lusofona University, to all of the organizations and people who have helped bring this together, particularly to the team that has worked so hard on it, Carla, Teresa, Daniel, Carolina, our friends Mary and Sharon, everybody, all the students who are connected with it. So I cannot say how much I appreciate all this effort, first of all, to agree to host the conference in the first place, and then to adapt it to suit our current conditions in the world. It's been a fantastic effort, and I think it's going to be a fantastic conference, and I'm really looking forward to being part of this. So basically, welcome, thank you everyone, and I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing what comes.
Thank you, Tim. We are really on time. We have 5 minutes until James starts his keynote. So maybe a glass of water in between, just to... do you have James Hewes with us right now?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, hello.
Okay, you are here. So you can start the pre-keynote with us.
Yeah.
And then you your keynote. Just kidding. We have to wait for people that are coming just at 10 a.m. just to listen to you. That I'm sure that are
I'm almost certain nobody's coming just to listen to me, but thank you for the thought.